Okay, so this is our SunSafe presentation. So I go to the Canadian Cancer Society website, so it says cancer.ca, and then it talks about all the different things that can help prevent cancer and be a healthier you. So here I just clicked on the side, be SunSafe, and then there's these different tips and different things about sun safety. So I'm going to start with the 6 best ways to be sun safe. So there's a little video here.
Skin cancer is the most common cancer in Canada. It's also one of the most preventable. Here are 6 easy ways to enjoy the sun safely and decrease your skin cancer risk. 1. Check the UV index every day. When it reaches 3 or more, protect your skin. 2. Seek shade. Sit under a tree, find an awning, or use an umbrella, especially when the sun's rays are strongest. 3. Slip on protective clothing. Cover up as much skin as you can with clothing labeled with a UPF or made from tightly woven fabric. 4. Slap on a hat. Wear a wide-brimmed hat that covers your head, face, ears, and neck. 5. Slop on sunscreen. Use a broad-spectrum sunscreen with an SPF of 30 or higher. Apply a generous amount and remember to reapply at least every 2 hours. 6. Slide on sunglasses. Choose close-fitting sunglasses with UVA and UVB protection. Protect yourself by practicing sun safety year-round. The Canadian Cancer Society is here to help. Find out more at cancer.ca/sunsafety.
So with that, down here there is a UV index and exposure. So if they talked about 3 to 5 is moderate, 6 to 7 is high, 8 to 10 is very high, and 11 is extreme. So everyone's phones are a little different, but lots of people have the weather app on the device. And I don't know if it's different with Samsung. So I just have the weather network. I don't know if you can see it very good. And then when it loads up, so instead of checking for the, the wind chill in the wintertime, you would just check for that UV rate every day. So instead of going as, oh, it's cloudy, let's go outside, we still need to check this UV rate. Mine is being a little bit difficult, so we might have to come back to that. There we go. So if you see here, it has the regular temperature, and then it says the UV report and the pollen report. So if you click the UV report, it will tell you what the report of the day is. And so currently, right now, it's at a 3, and then at 1 o'clock at the high, it will be a high of 6. So the daily max is at 1 o'clock. So right now, even though it looks crummy out, you would still want to apply that sunscreen because they still can get those UV rays. So always check that UV report. And then the timeline is the best to stay out of the sun and be in the shade if you are outside is the 11 till 3. But still use those sun-safe things, the sunscreen, the hat, the long sleeves, the UVF, and then sunscreen and be in the shade. So those are the most important part. And then the other thing that we learned was that even though in April it seems silly, or October when it's cold out, it seems silly to put sunscreen on, but it's still just as important to check the UV then and to make sure that they are sunscreened up. And this is for everyone. And they actually said that the risk of skin cancer is greater every time you burn. So as a child, if a child burns, the risk of them getting skin cancer as an adult, if they don't have the proper sun-safe protection on them, then that increases their risk of skin cancer. So that was something that just was like, oh, I never thought like that before when I had learned that.
Lisa, can you hear me?
Yep.
Is there something about, like, if they get a sunburn before they're a year or 2 old, that it has some kind of serious effect too? I remember reading something about that.
It might talk here in the UV rays.
Okay.
and some other things. But yes, so basically, if you the more you get burnt, the more your chances are of getting skin cancer. And when people say, "Oh, I'm going to go outside and tan," that's really not good either. The UV rays are coming into your body, and that's what causes the cancer. So, and it causes the discoloring of the skin. So, it's best to
Regardless of
fight.
burn.
Oh, someone's coming to join us. So, I'm just going to wait till she joins in, and then we will continue our chat. Hi, Valina. How are you? You can feel free to unmute yourself and take your video off if you'd like. We are recording this, so everyone can get on later if they haven't had a chance. So we were just talking about sunscreen and the UV index. So if it's 3 and higher, it's moderate, and that means you need to put sunscreen on, anything 3 and above. And then we also talked about the weather app on your phone, how it says the regular weather, and then there's these 2 little side buttons. One says UV report, and today it says 3 is moderate, and that's at what is right now. So even though it looks like a yucky day, it's still important to put the sunscreen on. And then today the max will be at 6, so that's a high today at 6 at 1 o'clock. So it's important to use that sunscreen when it's even not so sunny outside. So seek shade, cover up, wear sunglasses, and use sunscreen properly. And then those UV suits and things are also good. We're going to move to sun safety tips for babies and children. So keeping babies out of direct sunlight. So this is different for newborns. It's the 6 months and younger that they shouldn't have any of the sunscreen on them or be in the sun directly. They need to be protected by long sleeves and hats and shade as much as possible. Sunscreen for babies, yeah, here, 6 months, less than 6 months to check with healthcare professional. For 6 months and older, it's okay to use a small amount of sunscreen on exposed skin, such as their face, their back, and their hands. Protective clothing and shade are much better protection from the sun than sunscreen when they're that little. So when they're a toddler and child, play or provide shaded play. Try umbrella or trees if there's trees around. Try to keep toddlers and other children inside from 11 till 3. That's when the UV ray is the highest and most dangerous. Send your kids to school or to play outside in protective clothing, such as a loose fitting t-shirt, wide brim hat, which provides more protection than a baseball hat. So that wide brim hat is going to cover all of them. Like I have one here. So it's going to cover their forehead, their ears, and their neck, and potentially some of their face, depending. So these are the best kind of hats. I actually found this one at the dollar store, but there's other ones in different ones too. So they're very important to have on. And then some of them, you can get those ones that like tie around the bottom or the Velcro ones as well. So those are the best kind of hats to have for all children. Even my big kids wear them when it's really, really hot out. So yeah, more than the ball cap. Always apply broad spectrum sunscreen. So, Valine, if you have sunscreen at your house, you can grab it. If you don't, that's fine. But a few things to know about it. I don't know how well you can see my sunscreen in my hand, but this is just one that I looked at for the emblem that I want to talk about. So I want to, oh, now it's too big, sorry. There it is, there it is. So you can see there where it says recognized by the sun protection. And then it also says Canadian Dermatology Association. So that emblem in the middle is the one that you always want to find on your sunscreen. If you don't see that emblem on your sunscreen, it's not the best kind of sunscreen. So I said earlier that this is the one I found at IGA, and then this one is also at IGA. So they also say broad spectrum UVA and UVB. Mine is right there. I don't know if you can actually read it, but so it should always have that emblem and say broad spectrum UVA and UVB protection. That will protect you from the UVA and the UVB rays that come in. So those are two really important things when you do get sunscreen. And a side note that I learned and I was kind of surprised on was just because it says kids on it doesn't mean adults can't wear it, or it's just kind of just like a marketing gimmick that they want you to buy this extra expensive kids sunscreen, but you could just put this on your kids and it'd be the exact same thing. Obviously, you have to watch the SPF difference on whatever you buy, but you don't have to go buy kids sunscreen for your kids. If they have sensitive skin, then you might want to play with it, but they're the exact same thing. They just have different packaging. So that was something interesting I learned. And then the other one that's available is the spray sunscreens. And the spray sunscreens are not the best to have because you're not going to get the full coverage as you do with lotion sunscreen. So even though it's easy to put on, it's best to have the lotion. And then they also suggest to do a tablespoon of sunscreen per body part. So the more sunscreen they have on and the more it's on them, the more protection they're going to get from it. So instead of having it the rubbed in look, you want it to have like a white pasty look. So the more that it's just sitting on their skin instead of being rubbed in, the better protection they will also get. So that was something else. So a tablespoon. So you don't want just like one little dab of finger and then put it on their face. You want to like rub it in. So that gets the most protection for their skin. And then you also have to check expiry dates on them. The ones I bought were good. So if they ever expire, these ones specifically are on the lids, but I don't know where other sunscreens get them. I maybe on the Ridge. I think Dana has a special one on the top there. I'm guessing that's where the label or the expiry might be, but these ones are 2023 and this one's due in September. So we have to use this one up this year. So when we do things outside, we always suggest giving the sunscreen to the kids and the family. So we will always have the SPF 60 on hand this summer. So what else here? Sunglasses. So you obviously can't put sunscreen on your eyes. So having that 100% UV protection on their eyes is important as well, because the sunburn on eyes will be painful. Hi there. And then if you're playing near water, make sure sunscreen is water resistant or reapplying often. And remembering that the sun, the UV rays in the sun glares off the water, excuse me, and then reflects on them. So then it makes it that much more.
Did you ever find sunglasses that actually worked for toddlers?
I have used, when my kids personally were little, I used baby bands, and the eye doctors, I think, sell them. I don't know where else you could get them. But it's a baby band, so it's just like it's got the glasses, and then it's a band that holds on their face.
And it worked. Like, I feel like she'd rip it off at this age still.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the more they're seasoned to it or the more they're used to it, just like a hat or mittens, then the more that they would use it. So those were the ones I used. I found a pair at the dollar store. So it kind of depends on the child, but the more they are exposed to it, the more they'll get used to it. So don't use baby oil as a moisturizer before your child goes outside. The oil will make the effect of the sun stronger and could cause it to burn your baby. So those are important ones. And then it just said here for the sunglasses, make sure they're a wraparound so that they're covering, because then the sun can go inside your glasses from the side. So that's probably why those baby bands are really good. and then have the UVA and UVB protection on the sunglasses, just like you need it in the sunscreen. And so now we're going to look at the UV rays a little bit. So the UVA, there's 3 types of UV, ultraviolet rays, that's UV. So UVA makes up from the sun's natural light and can penetrate deep into the skin and cause wrinkles and premature aging of the skin. The UVB is the main cause of sunburns. They are 1,000 times stronger than the UVA. And then the C is a short wave radiation. These rays never reach the Earth's surface, but because the atmosphere filters them out. I didn't know that part. So that's good. So the UVB is the one that causes the sunscreen, and then this one causes the premature aging. And then that's why you really want to look into your sunscreens having the UVA and B protection. Just a few fun facts. The UV rays can still get through those clouds and foggy haze. Water, sand, and concrete, and especially snow, reflect the sun rays and make them even stronger. We're exposed to more UV rays as the protective layer of the ozone and the earth become thinner. And the main source of UV radiation of the sun is the indoor tanning beds, and sun lamps are also a source. So the UV index on that weather app that we talked about is the strength of UV rays is reached to the Earth's surface. In Canada, between April and September, the UV index can be 3 or more between 11 and 3 p.m., even when it's cloudy. So be careful on those extra days. So we talked about the UV index before. Any questions? I guess, Valine, I'm not sure if you were on yet, but we talked about that if you don't give your child the sun protection that they need with this, or yourself even, the more they burn, then the more chances that they could eventually get skin cancer. So it's best to protect them best you can now and yourself. So give it to them, give it to yourself, get lots of sunscreen on, reapply often, and then the chances of that skin cancer happening is much, much less. Here is just a sun safety fact. So UV rays cause up to 90% of the melanoma cases in North America. So that's what we were just talking about, that skin cancer is melanoma. Incidence rates of melanoma in North America is the 2nd highest in the world. And this is how you prevent. Seek shade, cover up, wear a wide-brimmed hat, sunglasses, and sunscreen. Indoor tanning equipment before the age of 35 leads to 59% increase of melanoma. 27% of young women use the indoor tanning beds, and just don't use them. They're bad for you. So the other couple of things that I think I wanted to mention, I think I did. The emblem, the tablespoon, make sure you don't rub it in. Make sure they're like white as a ghost, and then it'll eventually rub in.
Do you know anything about those SPF shirts?
Yes, I think they are good. I haven't found, well, on that video that we watched at first, it was a UVF. Have you ever seen that on them?
I haven't looked closely at them, but I've seen that they're like, I don't even know. I think they call them like SPF shirts or
SPF
something.
shirts. Yeah, I've used those personally a lot because then you don't have to put the sunscreen on where it is. So I think that's totally fine too. And
But
even like
what's the difference between that and a long sleeve shirt?
I think the way it's woven, I think the slide before it showed about a loosely fit woven, tight woven, or I don't know if it was cotton or something. Because if it's going to be like something that's thin, then it's not really going to protect their skin as much. So maybe it's like a thicker material. I know that my kids' SPF shirts are thicker than a regular long sleeve or t-shirt. So that's probably just how it's made with a different woven there. Let's see. Sun safety facts, we did that one. Oh, let's see this one. This one is how cancer cases are due to UV rays. So 3 out of 10 adults have had a painful sunburn in their leisure time. 6 out of 10 Canadian adults lie in the sun intentionally to tan their skin. 4,300 new melanoma cases are due to UV rays. And if the number trend continues, the number of new melanoma cases due to UV sun rays will increase from 4,300 to 6,100 in 2042. That's large. And together we could prevent 12,000 melanoma cases by 2042 if more people practice the sun-safe techniques. And I mentioned before that it's just cancer.ca, and then it has all these different things here to talk about how to prevent cancer and making good healthy choices. We'll do this quiz. We'll do this quiz together. I haven't looked at it. So skin cancer is the most common cancer in Canada. You guys can shout out the answers. True or false? True?
True.
It is, and it correct. It's also one of the most preventable cancers. The incident rate for melanoma is the most fatal form of skin cancer. Decreasing, increasing, or about the same?
Increasing.
If this trend continues, there will be 72 more cases in less than 10 years. Select all that apply. Ultraviolet radiation, UVR, from the sun and tanning beds are caused by skin cancer, skin damage, including premature wrinkles, or harm to the eyes.
Skin damage. That's the person who used tanning beds all through my teenage years.
Incorrect.
All of them food.
Oops. I think they skipped us out of that one. In Canada, between April and September, the UV index is 3 or more from what time?
11 to 3.
All right.
I lost my thread.
UVR is the most harmful, or UVR, which is harmful to your eyes, is present all year round and throughout the day.
Sylvie,
False?
what are you doing?
I say false.
Or is
I
it
say
true?
true.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh no,
true.
I was wrong.
UVR can harm your eyes even on a cloudy day.
True.
Select all that apply. If you have a higher risk of skin cancer, if you have light-colored skin or eyes, work or play and exercise in the sun for a long period of times, if you have several blistering sunburns as a child, take drugs that make you more sensitive to the UV light, or use indoor tanning beds. Which
All
gives
of
you
them.
All of them, yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, I don't know if it's gonna let me do that. Oh,
Don't touch, please. Let go.
oh yeah, maybe. Correct. Good job, ladies. 66%. Got 4 out of 6. So I think that's all I have to share. Do you guys have any other questions?
Do you have to put sunscreen under clothes or only what's like shown?
I would think what's shown, but let's just see. Sunscreens are rated by their strength by the SPF. Stands for sun protection factor. It helps block out those. So yes, those would be fine suits. It just tells you the ability to block out the sun rays, UVB, and the SPF sunscreen blocks 93%. So that was the other thing, that even though say you get 60% sunscreen, this one is going to do just, or this one's 60. So even though if you get 30, it's going to do just as good a job. It doesn't give you too much more protection. It's just a minor percentage.
I try to put it like where, like kind of under her clothes where I know they might move.
Yeah.
Like her wrists and her ankles and stuff like that.
Use sunscreen on anything that doesn't cover skin. So put sunscreen on ears, chin, even when you're wearing a hat. Don't forget your nose, bald spots, back of your head, tops of your feet, and any moving clothing. So like say if your child is wearing a t-shirt or their shorts, then I would put it under a bit where you know that if it comes up, then it's still protected, but you don't need to go like on the middle of their tummy if they're wearing a shirt kind of thing. Check to see how the clothing moves and then put sunscreen where it would get exposed. Put sunscreen on first and then makeup or insect repellent. Don't spray aerosols or pump sunscreen directly into the face. If you forget to put sunscreen on before going outside, it's not too late. Still apply and then reapply every 2 hours. So water resistant is only for 60,
Is there
40.
something about like storing it? Like it's not supposed to get really hot or something?
I wouldn't, yeah, I wouldn't leave it in your car for the week or something like that. It probably says on it, to be honest.
Sorry, I lost you there, Lisa.
I was gonna say it probably would be on the bottle. I wouldn't leave it in your car for a week either.
Yeah, I just feel like I've heard something like it's supposed to be like, I don't know, like it's not supposed to get hot, like I don't know.
All right. No, it doesn't say anything like that on the bottle either.
I
don't
make
think it
things
says
up
on
then.
here. Yeah, just check.
I must be making that up.
Oh, well, here. Sunscreens can be affected by extreme changes in temperature. If it's frozen or overheated or has changed color or smells, then it's best to throw it out. So you can take it to you with the pool or the beach or whatever, but don't like leave it in your car for the beach the next day or the pool the next day.
Yeah.
Or that kind of thing. So, but if it's with you all day, and it's a hot day like yesterday, it obviously should be fine. But I just wouldn't do it for a week at a time in your car kind of temperature. And then if it's expired or has any of those aspects to it, then throw it out. My husband just said when we were cleaning the boat out, he's like, I just found like 4 sunscreens in the boat. I'm like, well, that's good. But now they're garbage because they've been frozen. So, any other questions? Protect your lips. Put lots of sunscreen on lips too, whether it's the lip chap kind or the actual sunscreen. It's important because those will hurt. Anybody else have questions? Different ways for shade. Oh. Here you go, Dana. Look for clothing that especially is made for UV ray protection. The label shows UV protection, UPF, fabric's ability to block sun rays from passing through reaching the skin. The fabrics are classified into categories based upon their UPF. Like sunscreen, SPF is the higher the UPF, the less UV radiations reaches the skin and better the protection. Fabrics for clothing are often lightweight, but may be treated with some different ingredients to help block the UV rays. Look for UPF or higher or 50 or most. And then here it talks about that tightly woven clothing. So I would say that those SPF ones are just fine. I can't say in Canada I've ever seen the UPF, but the SPF I have. So this is a really good website to check out and just kind of explore and help yourself stay healthy and your family stay healthy. So does anybody have any other questions? No? I'm going to do a draw for you three ladies. So in the draw, we have a bottle of sunscreen, 30. We have 2 bucket hats to help protect those ears. We have a UV 400 sunglasses. They're not necessarily those ones that they talked about to cover the sides because I didn't find anything like that in town. But they are sunglasses and will help protect their eyes. And then 2 adult water bottles, 2 children water bottles, and then a cute summer bag. You're 1 in a melon. So I have all 3 of your names on my sticky note. I'm going to cut up. Hi, Isabel.
Say hi.
Hi.
Sylvie's waving.
Say hi,
Yeah.
friends. I'm going to stop sharing. Oh,